Okay, so this video is mostly for step 3 advice. So I finished taking step 3, and throughout I personally, I found it to be the hardest steps that I have taken. And I think that's largely in part because when I'm on wards, I was working 13, 14 hours. So getting off of that and then going home and studying, it's just super draining. And if I figured anything out about this career, is that you just need a lot of self-discipline. So step 3, I would study if you have your step 1 questions, or if you quickly want to review um, first aid stuff. There was a lot of step 1 material there that I didn't expect, and it actually kind of made me mad because I was like, I just was not expecting that. In regards to the computerized cases, I would take about a week, if you can more, if you can't less, of course. But I took about a week. Overall, I took about 2 months to study for the whole thing. And I know that that's a lot for a lot of people, but 1 month ahead of wards and 1 month ahead of clinic. And even on the clinic months, that's like a 40-hour week. So that's like a full-time job, having to study with, different activities, different personal things going on. So it was very challenging finding the time and the discipline to be able to do it. In regards to the computerized cases, make sure that you get enough practice, because the system itself is kind of weird. You have to know how to assess the patient. Like if they're crashing, of course you want to go straight into like the nurse orders, put in IV fluids, cardiac monitoring, pulse ox, ABG, EKG, whatever that patient's presentation is coming with. And once you have time, you can do the physical exam. You can do either a focused, or if they're at clinic chilling, you can do just a whole physical exam, neuro, everything. And then if you're waiting for labs, use a time button at the top where it says like fast forward. You can fast forward 12 hours. You really don't, at first I was like checking with every single lab exam that was coming back, but that actually takes a lot of time. And on the real test, they may give you only 20 minutes, which usually they give you even less. And online, I was freaking out because online, there was I was scared because my cases were ending so fast on the practice exam, and I was like, I don't want this to happen to me on the real exam. And a lot of people online are saying like, if your case ends soon, it's because you did really well. And I disagree with that, because in some instances where you get to a point where you've studied, you know what's going on. Most of the cases aren't too hard. They're pretty straightforward. I'm IM, so of course, like maybe the pediatric cases would be a little, less second nature to me. But they're pretty straightforward, and they'll end faster, so you'll have extra break time. They'll add that to your break time, so you'll be able to go to the bathroom more, do whatever you need to do for that 9-hour exam. But if it ends soon, it might be a sign that you didn't do too well on one case and they just kick you out of it, unfortunately. So don't freak out, just keep going, keep doing your thing. But make sure you educate the patient on, if they have HIV, or if they have cancer, help them out, counseling for cancer, different things. For the statistics, I purchased the UWorld. It's like $25 for the statistics guide, and I found that to be really helpful because the questions are good, but I would do that before you do the questions. So review the statistics, the $25 course subject, and then do the questions and annotate, take notes. And then if you have time at the end, review them. or if you're like on a plane, you can review those answers there. I took my test in Houston, so I went back, had time to review, and so it's challenging. Make sure you eat, make sure you take food. You can actually Uber eat to the center, but I wouldn't do that. Or let the front desk let everyone know that your food's coming there if you want like fresh hot food, because like after a 9-hour exam I wanted fresh hot food. And yeah, so if you want to do that, you can do that. If not, you can bring your own food, and just get a good night's sleep. That's the most important part. Get a good night's sleep. I took some Benadryl to try to get me to go to bed, and it worked. And then make sure you get your coffee or your energy drink. But the most important is getting some sleep. Other than that, those, the things that I didn't expect about that exam was how little break time. I felt like it was less break time than normally. On the second day, because the computerized cases end sooner, it gives you more break time, which is nice. But on the first day, I found it to be draining and not enough break time for how long and how difficult the exam. And I think it was difficult just because, even when you study a lot, there will be questions that will throw you off. And there will be a lot of like step 1 type material. So if you can review that, I would go ahead and do it. And then the statistics. On the second day, I didn't have any statistics. But the computerized cases can be a little, they're straightforward, but just make sure that you prepare practicing so you know what to expect. Other than that, just review everything. Try to do as many questions as you can. I was one of those people where I did not want to, I didn't want to waste my money. It's like $1,000 to take it. So the thought of having to pay that money again really was what like stressed me out the most. Some people do like 300 questions of UWorld, 500 questions of UWorld. To me, I was super strict on myself, and even though I got off work super tired, I would make coffee. I even made some time to work out, and I'm not a really working out person, but it just gets so stressful having to do so much that even a 30-minute routine to try to decrease your stress level helps. But I did all the questions. I went through almost all the computerized cases. I think I didn't do maybe 5 or 7, something like that. I went through some of the practice. I took notes. I went through that. I did a lot, and I know that in comparison to a lot of people, they did less and they still passed. So if you're like me and you freak out about these exams and you really don't want to fail them, be extra. Be super extra. If you're chilling, you really don't care about this exam, whatever fellowship you're trying to get into, I don't think it really matters. But, just take it and wing it, and then you could be like, yeah, I didn't do anything, I barely studied and I passed. You could be one of those people. But good luck to everyone.